Get ready for a journey into the heart of Oregon's unique uniform tradition, the unconventional tradition. In the heart of Eugene, Oregon, a hidden gem awaits, the Marcus Mariota Performance Center. Here, history hangs on wire hangers, telling a story of glitz and glamour that's not immediately apparent. Step into a dimly lit hallway, lined with gray closets, and you'll discover a treasure trove of fabrics, colors, and prints that have become synonymous with the Oregon Ducks. Imagine a sea of jerseys, each shade of green you can think of, from neon to emerald, forest to army. Black and white take on a whole new life, and the yellows range from a vibrant Gatorade. Kenny Farr, the football equipment administrator, flips through pages of dry-fit material and mesh, each page a chapter in the Ducks' uniform history. Some of our best uniforms, sadly, were worn in losses, Farr shares. It's a tough pill to swallow, but we try to move on and focus on the next game. Farr is more than just an administrator. He's a key player in the Oregon uniform enterprise. His role is multifaceted, part manager, part craftsman, and part custodian of this unique tradition. Kenny is the godfather of Oregon football uniforms, says Quinn Van Horn, a senior designer of the latest generation of uniforms. Over the past 2.5 decades, Oregon has cycled through 9 different uniform versions, with nearly 50 iterations and countless combinations. This fascination with their attire has created a unique energy, attracting players and inspiring other schools to follow suit. We all have the rich tradition of Ohio State, USC, or Notre Dame, Farr explains. So, we decided to go in the opposite direction. Our tradition is to be untraditional. We push the boundaries, the evolution of a concept, before the myriad permutations of Oregon jerseys, before the well-oiled system that delivers a new uniform each season and a fresh set of designs every 3 years. It all started with a simple question. How do you make a duck look cool? Rick Backus, working for Nike in the late 1990s, was part of the team sports subdivision, dedicated to professional and college team apparel. Backus, alongside a team overseen by Nike creative director Todd Van Horde, had just redesigned the Denver Broncos uniforms. The success of that project, coupled with Oregon's appearances in the 1995 Rose Bowl and 1996 Cotton Bowl, led to a mission: remake the Oregon Ducks. Backus found inspiration at the Detroit Auto Show, where he discovered ChromaFlair paint, a type of paint that changes colors. I was feeding bread to a mallard by the lake, and I noticed the paint's sheen resembled the mallard's head, Backus recalls. Backus brought swatches of the ChromaFlair paint to Oregon, and the rest, as they say, is history. The concept, with its futuristic feel, was a hit. Van Horn believes the iconic O logo, with its inner outline shaped like Hayward Field, and the outer one mimicking Autzen Stadium, was a game-changer. The creator of this logo is disputed, but its impact is undeniable. The players loved the new look, Backus says. They were used to loose-fitting jerseys, but the new design was super futuristic, and they embraced it wholeheartedly. The impact of uniforms on performance. Farr's office phone was ringing off the hook after Oregon's loss to Ohio State in the 2014 National Championship game. The uniform combination, white jersey, black numbers, gray pants, and a white helmet with silver wings, was a hit with fans. But the result on the field was disappointing. It looked great, but we didn't win, Farr says. People blamed the uniform, saying we should have worn green. But I think it's more about the players' performance than the color of their jerseys. It was under coach Chip Kelly in the late 2000s that Oregon's sartorial flair truly matched its fast and furious style of play. More uniform combos and a winning record supercharged a frenzy, not just around the team's success, but also around its next uniform iterations. Winning on a national stage elevated our brand, Van Horn explains. We started experimenting with different combinations and working with athletes and fans on scripting uniforms. It became an event, with fans speculating about our next uniform release. Farr adds, fans expect something new and groundbreaking every game, but that's not always possible. Sometimes it's the small details that make a difference, the power of customization. Farr has found that customization can make a big impact. Whether it's custom cleats, like the glow-in-the-dark cleats, gloves, and accessories the Ducks wore against Penn State, or tweaks to the helmet, the only piece of the outfit he can customize weekly. Farr ensures the Ducks stand out. When Oregon faced Wisconsin in the 2020 Rose Bowl, Farr tweaked the chrome helmets with green tonal wings to match the face mask. The result? A perfect reflection of the famous San Gabriel Mountain sunset during the game. It was one of my best decisions, Farr says. We won the game, and it became an iconic moment. But if we had lost, people might have blamed the uniform. Farr has learned to navigate the pressure, knowing that his vision isn't the only one that matters. Sometimes he's overruled on a design, only to see it shine on the field. We wore a yellow helmet, gloves, and cleats combination a few years ago, and I thought it looked terrible. But on the field, it was a hit. So, they like to give me a hard time about that. The player's perspective. Tez Johnson, an Oregon wide receiver, played the role of lobbyist last year, gathering with teammates and Farr to decide the Ducks' uniforms for the 2024 season. Farr had samples of the Generation O class of kits, helmets, jerseys, base layers, socks, cleats, and gloves ready for the players to see. With 5 base uniforms to choose from, players get creative. Farr facilitates this process by democratizing it. He selects a group of players, typically upperclassmen with an interest, to form a committee with an odd number to avoid ties. Over a few hours, players debate their choices, considering opponents, schedule, and even weather. It's important to have players who are opinionated and not afraid to voice their opinions, Farr says. For the players, it's a badge of honor. Once players finalize their choices with Farr's assistance, he lays out the scripting in a lookbook and shows head coach Dan Lanning for approval. Finalizing the looks well in advance helps Farr organize the high volume of inventory. Nike's influence. The Ducks may not have a different uniform for every game, but the perception that they could is a unique feature of Nike's influence. According to Farr, Nike tiers schools, with Oregon being in a league of its own, Tier 0. When I got to Oregon, I thought the practice jersey was the game jersey, says Evan Stewart, a wide receiver who transferred from Texas A&M. It's just different here. You look good, feel good, you play good. Players get to test upcoming fabrics and materials that may not come out until 2028, and Nike uses Oregon athletes as wear test subjects. The Van Horns and Nike get input from players, asking questions like, if Oregon was a car, what kind would it be? Todd Van Horn believes this system, with players cycling in and out, will keep Oregon's well of uniform ideas stocked for years. The Energy Moment Oregon commits to having at least one entirely new, never-before-seen uniform design each season, dubbed the Energy Moment. This 6th uniform combination has been largely led by players. From a bright pink helmet with black jerseys in 2013 to a Pan-Polynesian heritage-themed Ohana uniform in 2020. While we want to do some throwbacks, it's about evolving, Farr says. How are we going to push the boundaries further? Farr oversees a committee of younger Oregon players who are part of the idea process for the Energy Moment jerseys in 2026 and 2027. This year's edition, approved by Nike 18 months in advance, featured a charcoal black and gold look with white helmets dubbed Shoe Duck in honor of Phil Knight. We want to make sure they win when we come out with a big uniform. Quinn Van Horn says, a win cements a uniform's foundation. The legacy, the building that houses the hanging jerseys, is named after Mariota, but his jerseys are not among them. Players who finish their senior season are given a framed jersey before their last home game. If a player wants any of his other Oregon jerseys, the price is $50 plus shipping. Mariota bought all of his, but not everyone has. That's why, even though the closet holds close to 1,000 jerseys, there are 600 to 800 more in storage below. Some players have 40 or 50 jerseys by the end of their career, Farr explains. Farr decided to organize the old jerseys alphabetically when the Performance Center was built in 2016.
He wants to ensure that players can reunite with their polyester past. For every Marcus, there are 119 other guys who maybe weren't the star player or couldn't afford to buy all their jerseys. They'll come back, and I get to tell them, yeah, here they are. Farr recently reunited a player with his jersey after the game against the Cowboys this season. Cornerback Jalen Davies, a freshman at Oregon in 2021, before transferring to UCLA and eventually Oklahoma State, asked Farr if he still had his jersey. "I do," Farr told him. "Call me after the season." Farr is happy to oblige, knowing that another jersey will soon take its place.